Okay, here we are. Today's day 11 on the Advent of Cyber Challenge. Today's challenge name is XSS, Mary XSSMas, which I think stands for cross-site scripting. Let's close this out. And of course, my typical disclaimer, if you will. I'm not a cybersecurity professional. I have no experience in or with cybersecurity. I'm just another beginner taking on the challenges like other beginners would. So you might see me stop, research, look things up just to clarify for myself. With that being said, today is day 11. And another notation, yes, I'm a few days behind here, but my kiddo had the flu and she was sick and down and out for a couple days. So I'm just now getting back to things. Okay. So with all that being said, here we go. Video 1, video 2 associated for today. We're going to move on beyond this. We have 2 tasks, introduction for task 1 and task 2, leave the cookies, take the payload. So we're going to open up introduction and just jump right in. After last year's automation and tech modernization, Santa's Workshop got a new makeover. McSkitty has a secure message portal where you can contact her directly with any questions or concerns. However, lately the logs have been lighting up with unusual activity ranging from odd messages to suspicious search terms. Even Santa's letters appear to be scripts or random code. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, dig through the logs, uncover the mischief, and figure out who's trying to mess with McSkitty. So we need to understand how XSS works. Let's double check. A type of security vulnerability typically found in web applications. It allows attackers to inject malicious scripts into web pages viewed by others. And of course, it doesn't state. I'm almost positive it's cross-site scripting. Let's see. Of course, why would that work? You gotta be kidding. Neither one of them. I love it. This year has just been comical at best. Either way, even Santa's letters appear to be scripts or random code. We're going to understand how XSS works, learn to prevent XSS attacks, and before moving on, we need to review the questions and the connection card below. So it looks like the only 2 things that we're going to need today is the attack box and the VM. No to split screen, which means we'll probably have split screen for the attack box, even though it says no. No direct link, and no credentials to connect to the VM via RDP, VNC, or SSH. This right here is just explaining how we can start everything today. So to start the target machine, we're going to click Start Machine. We'll get a couple pop-ups here. Close those bad boys out. Right here, this is where our target machine IP will appear. And then for the attack box, we're going to click, well, Start Attack Box. And we're going to wait for that to pop up in split screen, even though it states no split screen. Oh, look at that, split screen. Okay. So answer the questions below. I have successfully started the attack box and target machine. Ooh, I'm just going to check yes, even though things can go awry from here. So task 2, leave the cookies, take the payload. So equipment check. For today's room, we will be using the web app found under HTTP machine IP. Well, I assume we got to wait for our target machine to appear with the IP address. We have about 15 seconds or so for that. And as well, we still got to wait for our attack box to load, and we're only at about 25%. So I guess we'll pick up on the challenge when those 2 things load. And in the meantime, I'm going to take another sip of coffee. Oh, so good. Okay, so target machine is 1064, 166, 244. That's going to be my IP, which we can see right here. Yours is probably going to be different. And my attack box is 1064, 70, 82. We are at about 40%, so before we even jump through anything else, we still got to wait for that to load. And it looks like what we're going to do today is connect to this static site, if you will, and we can use our browser from the attack box to navigate it, and we'll see a page that looks very similar to this below here. Yes, it was called cross-site scripting. I was right. Let's review some key material regarding potential attacks on websites like this portal, specifically cross-site scripting, which is XSS. Oh, Lordy B. I don't know if I want to do all that because then it'll cause issues. All right, so XSS is a web application vulnerability that lets attackers or evil bunnies inject malicious code, usually JavaScript, into input fields that reflect content viewed by other users. Example given, a form or a comment in a blog. So when an application doesn't properly validate or escape user input, that input can be interpreted as code rather than harmless text. This results in malicious code and can steal credentials, deface pages, and or impersonate users. Depending on the result, there are various types of XSS. In today's task, we focus on reflected XSS or stored XSS. So in the meantime, I'm going to pause here. We'll come back to that. Close this here. Open our browser. Go up and grab that static site. Control C. And then we will review reflected XSS. All right, we're going to go ahead and drop this in. Hit enter. Close this, and here's our web page. So search previous messages, look up previous messages in communications, search for messages, and we can send a message to McSkitty, write your message below, and McSkitty will get back to you as soon as possible your message. And we can see here, view recent system activity and security events. Page accessed, search performed, and page accessed, search performed, potential XSS. So we can see script alert stored meow meow. Okay, so reflected XSS. You see reflected variants when the injection is immediately projected in a response. Imagine a toy search function in an online toy store, and you search via https://trygiftme.thm/search?term=gift. But imagine you send this to your friend who is looking for a gift for their nephew, and please don't do this. So it's showing that same outline here, provided with the script alert, ATOB, this string right here, and close script. If your friend clicks on the link, it will execute code instead. Okay, so impact, you could act, view information, or modify information that your friend or any user could do. View or access, it's usually exploited via phishing. So of course, phishing is when emails are sent to targets purporting to be from a trusted entity to lure individuals into providing sensitive information. So of course, this is exploited via phishing to trick users into clicking a link with malicious code injected. Stored XSS. Stored XSS attack occurs when the malicious script is saved on the server and then loaded for every user who views the affected page. Okay, so like we saw here for stored meow meow or something like that. Oh, and then we also have reflected meow meow. Okay. Anyway, unlike reflected XSS, which targets individual victims, stored XSS becomes a set and forget attack. Anyone who loads the page runs the attacker's script. To understand how this works, let's use the example of a simple blog where users can submit comments that get displayed below each post. So normal comment submission would show a post, the host, post ID, so it showed the number 3, the name from, email for, and the comment, this gift is set. This gift set my carpet on fire, but my kid loved it. Oh, wow. The server stores this information and displays it whenever someone visits the blog post. So malicious comment submission stored XSS. Example, if the application does not sanitize or filter input, an attacker can submit JavaScript instead of a comment. So we'd see the post, which is the post, the comment, the host name, got it, post ID again. And now we see the comment of the actual script, okay? Because the comment is saved in the database, every user who opens the blog post will automatically trigger the script. This lets the attacker run code as if they were the victim in order to perform malicious actions such as steal session cookies, trigger fake login pop-ups, and deface the page. So protecting against XSS, each service is different and requires a well thought out secure design and implementation plan, but key practices you can implement are, and we're going to hold here, we're going to run through those bullet points in just a moment. So which type of XSS attack requires payloads to be persisted on the back end that was stored? what's the reflected XSS tag and what's the stored XSS tag as well. Did you enjoy the room? We'll see. All right, so these bullet points here: disable dangerous rendering wraths. Should that be paths? Wraths? Instead of using inner HTML property, which lets you inject any content directly into HTML, use the text content property instead. It treats input as text and parses it for HTML. Make cookies inaccessible to JavaScript. Set session cookies with an HTTP only, secure and same site attributes to reduce the impact of XSS attacks. Sanitize input and output and encode. So in some situations, applications may need to accept the limited HTML input, for example, to allow users to include safe links or basic formatting. However, it's critical to sanitize and encode all user-supplied data to prevent security vulnerabilities. Sanitizing and encoding removes or escapes any elements that could be interpreted as executable code, such as scripts, event handlers, and or JavaScript URLs, while preserving safe formatting. I'm going to pause there, take another sip of coffee. Okay, to exploit XSS vulnerabilities, we need some type of input field to inject code. There's a search section. Let's start there. So we're going to go up in the search section, and to exploit reflected XSS, we can use test payloads to check if the app runs the code injected. If you want to test more advanced payloads, there are cheat sheets online that you can use to craft them. For now, we'll just pick the following payloads. So we're going to grab script right here, copy, paste. Inject the code by adding the payload to the search bar and clicking search for messages. It shows the alert text, and we have confirmed reflected XSS. So what happened? Hit OK. There we go. We get our flag. Nice. Inject the code by adding the payload, which we did. The search input is reflected directly in the results without encoding. Okay, that was us. The browser interprets your HTML, JavaScript as executable code. An alert box appeared demonstrating successful XSS execution. Okay. And you can track the behavior and how the system interprets your actions by checking the System Logs tab at the bottom of the page. Let's copy that before we lose it. Actually, let's just grab that. And system logs. So right here, we can see where we dropped in the reflected meow meow script. And now that we have confirmed reflected XSS, let's investigate if it's susceptible to stored XSS. This vector must be different as it needs to be persisted. Looking at the website, we can see that you are able to send messages which are stored on the server for Mixkitty to view later, as opposed to searching, which is stored temporarily on the client side. Navigate to the message form and enter the malicious payload we used before. Others work too, but we're going to use that one. So let me get rid of our flag here. We're going to paste that. Nice. And then we're going to come back up, grab the stored script here. We're going to send that in a message and hit OK. We'll scroll back down. There we go. And we also get our other flag. All right. So click the send message button because messages are stored on the server. Every time you navigate to the site or reload, the alert will display. We can scroll down and see our system log here. We did run posted message of stored. We can see that here. Okay. And wrapping up. So it's confirmed the site is vulnerable to XSS. It's no wonder the unusual payloads have been detected. In the logs, the team will now harden the site to prevent future malicious code from being injected. Well, let's paste that here. Hit check. And did we enjoy the room? I'd say so. And we're going to click out of here. Continue. Close. Let's go ahead and terminate this machine. And last but not least, let's also terminate this one. And that is going to be it for day 11.